All right. So, welcome to the Zach Mercer Show. It's my first ever episode. I'm here with somebody who you may not know at the moment, but you're going to here soon. Uh, Good country singer and somebody that's become a good friend and really helped me out on this whole podcast journey. It's PJ North.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. I'm happy to be the virgin episode for you, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's been nerve-wracking today. I've been stressing about it, but I think we're gonna do good. Um,
Hey, man. Every great moment has its highs and lows and things like that. So it's cool to be able to take the journey. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, so it's good for people to kind of jump in there and get your feet wet if you enjoy it. So, and I'm happy to be here.
yeah, that's my dream, or not really a dream, but just like something I've always wanted to do. I've always been a podcast fan and stuff like that, and I was thinking, well, might as well start my own because if there's two things I really enjoy, one of them's good music, and the other one's listening to myself talk. So here we are.
Here we are, and here I am. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So I've been a fan of yours for a while. I think the first song that I listened to was Saturdays Are for the Boys.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words.
And then I kind of went through and really dove into it. And then your new EP, Victory Laps. That's, I mean, front to back. It's rare to find an album or some type of project or something like that just front to back. Everything else you just vibe with. It's just everything is good. Like you can kind of connect with every song in its own special way.
Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, Victory Laps was crazy for me. I've been doing this for a long time. I started making music when I was younger. I started really pursuing it when I was around 16 or 17 years old, and Victory Laps is a crazy culmination of last year. When COVID hit, I still had two singles left that we had recorded just a few months prior to that as an EP. We were just fresh off of releasing "Afraid of the Dark," and which is one of my favorite songs that I've got to work on. And at that point, man, we had just played a bunch of shows. We really started to hit our stride. I have a new band and of guys that are here in Nashville, and I was very blessed to be able to play shows. And then COVID hit, and I was really at just a weird place. And then all my friends' shows started getting canceled, and so I started to work from home. I do have a day job, and at that point, the two producers of mine, a buddy of mine, one of them was like, "Hey, we should just write." His schedule was kind of wide open at that point. And so we wrote a bunch, and we pulled in friends of mine, Tyler Anderson, Dawson Edwards, Chris Rudiger. We're all co-writers on different songs on the EP. And we just, at first it was kind of like a joke, like, "Hey man, what if we just recorded an EP, during quarantine and all this stuff?" And then it became more real. And so we just got in the studio and knocked out the songs, and it really just hit. We turned down a few songs of mine that we had, and we really tried to just like iron out where we were and where we wanted to go. And so Victory Laps is that culmination of COVID being over. Honestly, man, it's a year's work of things. We released singles. We started with Turn It Up Some, and then I released Saturdays Are for the Boys, then LA to Me, and Beers We Haven't Drank, and then Ford and Lie to Me. So for me, it was a really cool thing. It's a really cool. It's really a lot of different styles of the same types of songs, right? I mean, we write Nashville songs. I'm not your traditional country guy, but I love traditional country. It's just as an artist, no one wants to see me sit up there and play guitar, So
Yeah.
we try to make, most of my music's upbeat and a little bit rowdy, and we call it pop punk country, and that's kind of, we really solidified that with Victory Laps. I think we really just kind of leaned into it. So it's really cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, one way to think about it is it's almost like the last year with COVID and everything's been kind of like a race. And now that we're going towards the decline of it, it's almost like we're in the victory laps. So
Man, I'm here. Here's the hope, and I hope it's people getting vaccinated or whatever they choose to do, and this, that, and the other. And I hope that we continue to see this, states open and things like that, and travel open and things like all that. So I hope 2021 is the turnaround. I'm gonna get to play a show full band for the first time in over a year next week, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's a crazy ride, and here's the hope, and it goes back to the way it used to be.
yeah. So you said that your music isn't really traditional country, and I really like and kind of gravitate towards kind of country artists, but people that aren't afraid to like go outside of the box. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, everybody loves Johnny Cash, everybody loves Waylon Jennings, but it's kind of refreshing to see somebody put their own spin on it, you know?
Yeah, I'm very lucky in the sense of I stay true to myself. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. I grew up in a city. I grew up in the suburbs, but I spent the majority of my time traveling around drag racing in small towns and podunk towns. And I drove a truck in college and high school. I drove a truck when I moved here, all that stuff. So none of that stuff's foreign to me by any stretch. It's just different, right? And I think I grew up on Brooks and Dunn and Tim McGraw and Garth Brooks and all those guys. And but I love all these other genres of music, and I think having the opportunity to talk about those things in my music and maybe bring those things out in the sound that we do. My two producers, Frank Leger and Michael Meckling, without them, I don't know if I'd still be doing this, if I'd still be able to do it, because they've taken me to such a different level. I feel like I'm forever indebted to those guys, but they also get the sound that I'm trying to make and the sound that I want to play live and the things we want to do. And so that's really where our thing comes from. And I think, we pay homage to those that came before us, Aldeans and Alan Jacksons and all these guys, or females too, like Shania Twain and people we grew up on, and things like that. Like, we're all trying to kind of bring all those things to a close, but you got to stay true to yourself as an artist. I think that's the big thing that shows success, or the fact that you can continue on and doing this is, being authentic to yourself. So that's really where it comes from my perspective, at least, trying not to be somebody, trying to be me and less somebody that I'm not,
Yeah. I feel like like the higher ups in country, like the big names that you hear about all the time, I feel like to a certain degree, they're signed to these labels and stuff. And I feel like it gets to a certain point where they pretty much turn into like a movie character, and the labels are writing their scripts and telling them what to say and stuff like that. So I really dig the people that just stay true to themselves, because that's really what it's all about.
We're very lucky as independent artists to get to do that, I guess.
Yeah. So who would you say would be your, you obviously said the people you grew up on, like the country acts you grew up on, but who would you say were your influences to make music like that came from outside of country, like other genres and stuff?
Yeah, I said this a lot. I think, if it wasn't for Sam Hunt, I don't know that I would have fully made the transition to make the music I'm making. I know he's a country artist, but he just really gave me the confidence that, first hearing his stuff, that, we could really do what we want to do. We just got to do it.
Yeah.
And so, I love a lot of my music now is, we call it pop punk country because there's pop punk country guitars. It's all time low, Fall Out Boy, stuff, like that, and all these other bands, and now it's all coming back around. But there's that, Jay-Z plays a huge part in my creative process. Guys like Wale. I always wanted to be the smartest guy in the room when it came to lyrics and things like that, and so guys like that really did it for me. And then there's bands like the band Camino, the 1975, who are just doing it better than everybody else, it seems like. And so you hear a lot of that in my music too, because I love those vibes, and I don't see why we can't do that in the music we make. So it's a lot of that, but it's such a wide range of inspirations. We made the joke when we wrote Turn It Up Some, we were like, what if we had a Hit the Lights that was a Nashville song? And and so that's kind of where that vibe came from. And so we take inspiration, kind of like I said, from a lot of different places.
So this might be a tough question, but I feel like I got to do it. If you could take one person from outside of country music that would be like your dream collab, who would it be?
Outside of country music, yeah, I would have to say Jay-Z. I'm just such a huge Jay-Z fan. I grew up on his music. I listen to his stuff still to this day. I'm just such a huge fan of everything he's done from a music standpoint, a business standpoint, things like that. So yeah, definitely Jay-Z. But if it wasn't for him, it'd be him or the 1975 now. But definitely Jay-Z for the younger me still feels that way.
Yeah, you look at people like Jay-Z, people that really like came from nothing, you know, and now what? He's a billionaire or close.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of, you see,
it's pretty
people,
crazy to see.
You go ahead. You see people.
No, I was
like
gonna say it's crazy to see his situation.
Yeah. I mean, you see people.
Sorry, my phone was muted.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. And that's another one. Like people like Jay-Z. Jay-Z has really, as far as I can tell, really stayed true to himself and kind of rode his own wave, you know.
100%. I think you know, when I would hear his music, you could see growth. And that's kind of, as a human being, it's tough to talk about the same things as we did 10 years ago if we're not still doing those same things that we were doing 10 years ago. So, you know, that's part of the thing, is part of the growth. And you see artists and bands go through that. But the big thing is being able to stay relevant as you grow, right? And still be appealing to people as you grow and continue to mature and things like that. And so for me, you know, a lot of my songs, like I said, we haven't grown up. And that's the cool thing, man. I still feel, you know, like I'm 20 years old, 19 years old, still starting to really, really do this thing. When I write some of these songs and we get to play live and do that. And that's what it's really all about for me.
Yeah. So let me think here. Yeah, you look at guys like Jay-Z, you go back to 99 Problems, and before that to his newer stuff. Like you can just see, like you were saying, you can just see the growth through everything. And I think, I mean, I wouldn't know firsthand, but I think as artists, the best gift that you have is being able to grow and being able to tell your story different ways. Because I mean, even country music, it's different from how it was back then. So I feel like to a certain degree, people have to be able to adapt to it and kind of go with the flow. And you personally do a good job at that. People like Sam Hunt. I mean, because you even listen to Sam Hunt's older stuff that was really like, it was more, I don't want to say more country, but that's kind of what it was. Like it was more country. And then as he started to develop as an artist, he got into branching out a little bit and, you know, telling his own story his own way. And I think that's really special as an artist to be able to do that.
Yeah, man, like I said, I've been very lucky to have friends that have brought out the you know, that really helped me stay true to myself and kind of the sounds we want to make. If I say something like, hey, I think we should do this, they're like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like if we love it, there's other people that love it too. We're not the only ones. So that's kind of the thing, right? Is to connect with people. And that's why we write songs, is to have a connection to kind of speak our truths or whatever that may be, or, you know, sing about things we want to sing about. So for us, that's what it's really all about. And I think, you know, Sam Hunt's a perfect example because he's managed to cultivate this career where he only has to drop a song once every 52 weeks and people go nuts. If that doesn't create a buzz, you know, I think he's just, I'm such a fan of his, man, the songs that he picks and the songs that he gets to write, you know, just such a star. And so it's really cool to see what he started out, you know, doing to where he's at now, which is really great. So I'm very blessed to share the same sentiment, to be, like I said, able to stay, you know, I'm a nobody. No one knows who I am. you know, so I don't have that same type of fame. I don't have to worry about labels telling me what I can and can't do. But it's cool to be able to stay true to ourselves and make the music we want to make.
I think that personally, the thing that really like draws people to not sign with the labels is, okay, so your labels are going to have like a specific idea for how you want to be. Nobody is going to be able to tell you how to be yourself. Like you just literally have to come up with that in your own mind. And like I said, just tell your own stories, and people are going to like it or people are not. And I think you've been lucky enough. I mean, smaller performers, it's funny you mentioned Dawson Edwards because he's actually going to be the next guest. This is the first time that's been announced, but just stuff
Awesome.
like that. People,
I love Dawson.
yeah, people. I mean, I feel like it's not a bad thing to sign to the labels, but to a certain degree, you have to be able to just stay yourself and not let, well, like I said earlier, not let them make you like a character, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, if a label called me today and wanted to offer me a deal, I am available.
Yeah.
I am available. You know, but it's crazy how that works, and I think that's the cool thing about, you know, Spotify for artists and Apple Music for artists, because we can kind of see what does and doesn't work ourselves, and we can try to grow on that. You've seen a lot of success from independent artists in the last year. You know, close friend of mine, Chris Rudiger's had his best year ever, and he's independent. Dawson Edwards had a huge year, and he's independent. Guys like that. And then you see people like Priscilla Block, who is a great songwriter, and she figured out how to make it work. A great singer, and she's a, you know, great artist and things like that. So for her to sign a record deal, you know, off of making it herself, you know, it's a whole new world right now, to help yourself to get fan base and things like that. So it's really crazy. There's not as much of a need for labels, to a certain extent, to get started. You know what I mean? You can figure it out yourself. You can do these things, and you can get to a point now. You know, I doubt that they're going to play independent artists on the radio, on actual radio, on full time, you know, all that stuff. It's going to be really tough, but we're not quite there yet, but maybe, you know, which is a cool thing to think about. Like that's that on the precipice of a different era of music as we continue to move forward, which is really cool.
I think like someone I can think of right off the top that pretty much stayed independent and has blown up. I don't know if you listen to him, but Ryan Upchurch. Like he just started.
Yeah, man, he's really blown up, right? He kind of took advantage of his fan base and knowing his fan base and what they do and don't like, what does and doesn't work, which is cool because he's always said, you know, I put out whatever I want. I don't have anybody to tell me any different, which is cool, you know, and more power to him, man. You know, he, like I said, he's managed to make it out. If, you know, if I could do that, I would, to have that impact that he has on people, which is cool. So it's pretty crazy to see his stardom is a whole, you could write a book on it, which is great, because it's completely different than others. So it's cool.
Yeah, I think the thing, I mean, he was already starting to, I mean, in Southeastern Ohio, all my friends love people like that, like Ryan Upchurch. And then, so he was kind of already blowing up on this side. And then he went and did a couple months ago or a month ago, he went and did the No Jumper interview. So that's getting him into a whole different kind of crowd, because that's out west in Los Angeles. So, I mean, like you said, more power to him. I mean, it's just crazy to see somebody like that and somebody like you and Dawson and people like that kind of do it on their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, it's crazy to think about it. Like I said, there's guys like that. You know, we can make it happen. That's all we're trying to do, man, is to get people to listen to our music, and hopefully they enjoy it and keep listening to it. That's really the goal, right? And to make the music that makes us happy, so we're not making anything that's inauthentic. So hopefully we can kind of keep that train moving along.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about music is, like, I know more so from a fan standpoint, you have to make music. If you make music that people can connect with, they'll listen to you forever. Because I look at people like Johnny Cash, the Beatles. I'm a big fan of Nirvana. their music left such an impact that, well, Nirvana, that's about 30 years ago. Cash and the Beatles, about maybe what, 60 or 70 years ago, and people are still listening to their music. I mean, it's just about the impact that you can leave. So I don't know.
Yeah, man, that's all we're trying to do is leave the place better than when we found it. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
you know, one of the things about the music industry that's crazy, and the hope to have that impact that people listen to songs 10, 20, 30 years later,
Yeah.
which is cool.
So I know I saw on your Instagram you had something you were cooking up. Do you have anything that you're working on, or any upcoming music, or are you going on tour dates or anything like that here soon with COVID dying down?
Yeah, man, it's so we just got out of the studio. We just finished recording all of the songs for 2021 that we hope to start putting out. My first single is going to be June 11th. And you know, I'll just tell everybody here, it's got a pretty cool feature. So hopefully, you know, that's my goal, is to release that June 11th. Check it out on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. I'll have more information coming up soon. We're pretty excited about it. It's going to be really crazy. Hopefully, I'm going to play, like I said, my first full band show in over a year next week, May 26th, here in Nashville, which I'm pretty excited about. So things are looking up, man. We've got a lot of good songs. I'm excited about all the co-writers that we had on it. We have a really good wide range of co-writers on the EP, which I'm really excited about, which is cool to have some folks that haven't got to write songs for me specifically that got to write songs for me this time. So we're pretty pumped, man. We just got all the BGVs done, so we're really moving ahead. And this first single's already been pushed to distribution. So June 11th, we'll turn it up. You know, hopefully with this new one, we'll make a little headway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm personally excited for it, and I know other people are too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, man, I think that's about all I got, really. I mean, unless
awesome,
you got,
man. Well, thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I wish you all the luck. I wish you all the luck. I hope everything works out. You know, maybe in a year down the road, after you've had 52 episodes, you can be like, hey, you know, we'll do it again next year. We'll talk again after you've made, some headway. I hope Dawson works out. I love Dawson. Big Dawson Edwards fan, so that's cool. But yeah, dude, thanks for having me. Again, my name's PJ North. You can find me at thepjnorth.com, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff, man. Check out Spotify, iTunes, however you get your music. Even if you steal it and you like it, let me know. Hit me in the comments. So thanks for having me, Zach, man. I really appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll definitely have you back on sometime in the near future.
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate you.
All right, man. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome.
All right, buddy. We'll holler at you.
Cool. Yeah, there you go, man. Awesome, dude. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll see you.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.
All right.